If we brought an alien from a planet where they've figured out how to live to this place and it had to live with us and it had to go through the same things that we go through as humans, it would end up suffering from what we call mental illness. If it had to do the things that we have to do, the things that people are being programmed to do and to believe that it is okay to be doing these things, if it had to do those things, it would end up suffering from what we call mental illness. What you need to understand is that we live in a world that is very artificial. A world that's not even meant for us. This world ain't for us. We're not doing the things that we do for us. You don't work for 8 hours a day for you. It has nothing to do with you. You are just a slave, really. Kids are not going to school for them. You see, they are going there to get brainwashed. It's just that most humans are not conscious enough to realize that that is what's happening. Kids don't even like school. When I was young, I hated school. Kids are not happy when they're at school in the morning. They're sad. When you look at their faces, you can tell that they're sad. They are happy during the last periods because they know that they're going to go home soon. That is why when the bell rings earlier before the time that they were actually supposed to, be set free, they celebrate like they're crazy. They celebrate because they didn't want to be at school in the first place. They're just forced to go to school and to love being at school, but they know they don't love being at school. Most people don't love their jobs. But they have to work because what can they do? Everything that you want in this world requires money. You see, you are a slave, but because almost everyone in this world is a slave, it feels normal. It's just how things are. But when you are intelligent, you are able to see that, something isn't right. So there are a lot of people who are not feeling okay, but because they're not intelligent enough to realize what's not making them feel okay, they just think that's how they should be feeling. Those that are intelligent know that no, that's not how I'm supposed to be feeling. So they end up believing that they suffer from mental illnesses. Why do I feel like this every day? Those that are not intelligent, they just think, well, this is how I'm supposed to be feeling. So they don't even realize that they're not feeling how they should be feeling. So they think, yeah, it's It's how humans are supposed to feel, right? This is how every human feels, right? You see, you are supposed to know when something is not right. When something isn't right, you're supposed to know. When you are sick, you're supposed to know. If something is not right with you, you're supposed to know. If you get hurt, you're supposed to know. When there's a problem, you're supposed to know. And as a human, there are ways for you to know when there's a problem. There are ways for you to know when you are sick. There are ways for you to know when you get hurt. When you get hurt, you're gonna feel pain. So you know that something isn't right. When you are sick, you're not gonna feel comfortable. So you know that something is not right. The problem is this. Because we are slaves in this world, when we feel like something is not right, we are being made to feel as if there's something that is wrong with us for feeling like something isn't right. We're supposed to feel like everything is okay. We just have to heal ourselves. We have to work on ourselves. You see, there's nothing wrong with the world. The world is perfect, but then we have to work on ourselves. The reason why we are made to feel that way is because we are slaves. Like I told you in the beginning, that the things that we're doing, we're not doing these things for ourselves. It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with the system that is controlling us. So those that are able to see that, nah, man, something is not, it's not right. Something is not really what it's supposed to be. These people get diagnosed with all kinds of sicknesses, and you end up thinking that, yeah, these people are sick. Well, that's not the truth at all. Sure. That's why I keep on telling people that it's important for everyone to wake up, because we are in this weird state. It's like we're under a spell, and we're supposed to be doing things that are not even helping us in any way. We're supposed to continue to do things that are making us unhappy. And when some people figure out that this is making us unhappy, this is toxic, we're supposed to think that there's something wrong with them. When people figure out that something isn't right, we make them feel like there's something wrong with them. People are programmed to react that way. If a person say, nah, I'm not okay, and I'm mad at the world, I don't love the fact that I'm supposed to work in order to survive. I don't like the fact that I have to go to school, I have to study. Something about this does not feel right. Society is programmed to think that there's something wrong with that individual. Because we've been tamed, you see. So it's normal to just be the way that we are. As humans, we're supposed to neglect ourselves for this system. See, we're supposed to neglect ourselves for this system that is controlling everyone, so that we will be able to do what this system wants us to do. Because if we don't neglect ourselves, then we won't be able to accept this system. We're going to feel like something is not right, because it isn't. Trust me, man. If you feel like you don't belong here, if you feel like you're not happy, if you feel like you don't fit in, if you feel like something is wrong with the world, that's exactly how you should be feeling. Any person who is sane, any person who is intelligent should be feeling the way that you're feeling. You shouldn't be okay with this. Being okay with this is like drinking poison and not vomiting. When you drink poison, you're supposed to vomit because it's not good for you. There are people in this world who think that they're just strong. No, they don't have problems, right? They're cool, they're not complaining about anything. So they think they're just strong, and they think that the people that are complaining, the people that don't want to do some things that they are supposed to do, things that they're expected to do, if they don't do these things, they're just weak, they're just lazy. These people are just not intelligent enough. I'm not going to lie to you. If you are a slave and you don't even see that you're a slave, you are okay with being a slave, it has nothing to do with being strong. It has everything to do with not being intelligent, not being able to feel what you should feel. We must be able to see what is going on, and we must feel the way that we are feeling so that we'll make the right decisions. If it is possible for humanity to win, then we'll do what's necessary for us to win when we feel like something isn't right. If we can't win, then we'll do what's necessary. We won't keep on bringing new humans here to do the things that we're doing and be proud. Be proud of what? I mean, think about it, man. Are you supposed to be proud when you send your kid to school? Are you supposed to be proud when you wake up in the morning and go to work, be away from your family? Is that how humanity is supposed to live? Ain't you supposed to be doing what you love doing with your family? Are you really supposed to be away from your family? Marriage does not work these days. Why? Isn't it because we're not living the way that we should be living? Marriage is not going to work if we're not living the way that we're supposed to be living. If you wake up in the morning and go to work and leave your wife at home, every day, and then when you go back home you're tired, how is your marriage going to work? You don't even have time to spend with your wife. You're tired when you get back home. There's nothing wrong with working, by the way. It's not that I'm against working. When I was young, we had a farm. We used to go there and work, and we loved working. We loved working because it felt right. We were happy, doing some work there. We knew that it's natural. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. It's what we should be doing. It was fun. And I was young. I enjoyed going to the farm, but I hated going to school. Doesn't that tell you something? I hated being in the classroom. Do you understand how crazy the idea of school is? Like, kids have to sit in the classroom for 3 hours and be allowed to go outside maybe for 30 minutes, go back to the classroom, sit for 3 hours, be allowed to go to recess for maybe 10 minutes, go back to the classroom, be given homework. When they get home, they have to do homework. How are they going to be happy? They're not even living for themselves. They're not studying things that they're interested in. They're only studying what they're studying because they're slaves. You see, this system wants what it wants from us. So we must be ready to give it what it wants from us. And it changes us into what it wants us to be through school. It prepares us for our slavery through school. Because if we are happy, no, actually we won't be happy. But if we are okay with going to school, even if we're not really okay, but if we act like we're okay going to school, we're okay with being told when to go out, we're okay with studying things that we don't want to study, we're okay with doing work that we do not want to do, we're okay with listening to people that we don't want to listen to, we're okay dressing the way that we do not want to dress. We're okay listening to authority figures. We're okay being told what to do, being told what to think. If we're okay with all of that when we're young, then we're going to be okay with it when we're old. So it makes sense that people are working and they seem to be okay with it. Even if they're not happy, they're okay with not being happy. See? People are okay with not being happy. So yeah, if an alien had to do the things that we're doing here, if an alien had to live with us for a year, it will suffer from what we call mental illness. It will not be okay, especially if it came from a place where they figured out how to live, because this ain't how we should be living. No, it's very obvious that this ain't how we're supposed to be living. The problem is that everyone seems to be okay with how we're living. It gets to a point where you can't even stand alone and say no. Because here's the thing, as humans, we want approval. That's how we survive. We want other people to agree with us. We want to do the things that other people are doing. So if you stand alone and do what you really want to do what really makes sense, you're not going to fit in, and human beings must fit in order to survive. You're not going to have some of your survival needs met if you don't fit in. If you don't fit in, sometimes you might not even get into relationships that you want, because you don't fit in. People don't think that you're going to be a good partner for them because you don't fit in society. People think that you're a weirdo, so you can't even have dating opportunities because of that. It might even be hard for you to get a job because you don't fit in. It might even be hard for you to have friends if you want friends, if you don't fit in. So your life is going to be hard because you do not fit in. So human beings want to fit in because they can't stand being alone, being an outcast. They don't want to feel alone. They want to be with other humans. So even if you do realize that something is not right, it's not easy for you to just stand alone. It's not easy for you to tell people that something is just not wrong. In fact, I'm not going to participate in what's being done here. You're going to suffer a lot, and people do not want to suffer. We're trying our best to avoid suffering. But the truth is, we are slaves. and the things that we're supposed to be doing are not for us. We do not really benefit from the things that we're doing. The amount of work that we have to put in order to survive is a lot. If we were doing the things that we're doing for ourselves, we will be rich, all of us. Every person on this planet will be rich. You know, if you had to wake up each and every morning and go to work for yourself for 8 hours a day, you'll be rich. I mean, in a world that humans are not supposed to be treated like slaves. Because of course, if you are supposed to be treated like a slave, you might work for yourself for 8 hours and still have nothing in the end, because there are systems that have been put in place to ensure that you don't thrive, to ensure that you don't make it. You don't make it on your own. You're supposed to depend on this, system that has enslaved everyone. Because if you make it on your own, people are going to realize that, wait. We don't have to work these shitty jobs. I mean, look at that guy. He's doing his own thing. He's happy. And he's surviving. I'm quitting my job. No, you're not supposed to make it on your own. You're supposed to depend on this system. Everyone is supposed to depend on this system. So when you send your child to school, because you are killing their creativity by sending them to school, they won't find ways to survive. They will be forced to depend on the system because you've killed their creativity, because school does that. It kills creativity. Kids ain't supposed to be creative. Kids are supposed to be fed a lot of information that's not going to help them. And you think, oh yeah, my child is getting good education. No. Your child is getting brainwashed. When your child grows up, they're going to be okay with being a slave. It's crazy that we've been reduced into slaves and we are okay with that. It gets to a point when people say, nah, I'm not okay with this, we say that there's something wrong with them, because everyone is supposed to be okay with this. Everyone is supposed to be okay with being slaves. Yeah, it's crazy that people have accepted their enslavement. It's normal. It's normal to be a slave. You shouldn't even complain anymore. You shouldn't even fight the system. You shouldn't even fight for your freedom. And when a child rejects this system, because there are some kids that actually reject this system. I've seen this. Parents, because they're slaves, they're programmed to force that child to be okay with this system. Because they have power. They're dumb, but they have power. A child might choose their own way. Say, you know what, I want to focus on this. I want to develop my own skills. I want to do what I actually love doing. Parents are going to be like, oh, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You have to go to school. It even gets to a point where even when a child is succeeding at what they love doing, their parents won't even be proud, because they haven't went to school. They didn't take a route that they wanted them to take. I remember this song by Kanye West. I think it's called Mama. I wanna scream so loud for you, 'cause I'm so proud of you. I promise I'm going back to school. He said that because his mom wanted him to go back to school. Like, even though he was succeeding at what he does. I mean, his mom, was proud. I think she was smart, but she still felt like he needed to go to school. There are so many people that I know who have made a lot of money doing what they love doing, and they're being told that they must go to school because they're still young. And you're like, why don't you tell them to start their own businesses or something? Because they're making enough money to start their own businesses. Why should they go to school? Parents are programmed to think that school is everything. They don't even realize what is happening to these kids. They don't even realize what is happening to these kids. When I tell people that we're in some kind of a prison, they don't really understand what I'm saying. Because they think that we're free. I mean, I'm able to walk freely, doing my own thing, but really, society itself is a prison, Society itself is a prison. There are things that you can't do in this world, things that you're not supposed to do in this world. If you do these things, you're going to suffer, even if these things are not illegal, even if there's nothing wrong with doing these things, but because you are a prisoner here, you're supposed to suffer for doing these things. You can't dress how you want to dress. People think that they can dress however they want to dress, unless you're that free. There are people in this world that I'm really proud of, people that don't care what other people think. That's what I was talking about on the last video that I posted. That you've got to be so free that you don't care what other people think, because that's what freedom is being free from this society. You don't give a fuck. But really, a lot of people don't dress how they want to dress. They dress how society wants them to dress. A lot of people are not doing the things that they want to be doing. They're doing what society wants them to do. And what you must understand is that the things that society wants, or the things that society seems to want, are not the things that they really want. Remember, we're slaves. So there are people that are at the top that are making us want things that we don't really want. We're supposed to act as if we want some things that we do not even want. I mean, think about it, man. How often do you do the things that you really want to do in this world? How often do you do things for yourself? You are doing what you do most of the time because you're a slave. It's not about you. You've got to pay to live in this planet, so you've got to make money, right? You've got to pay to be in a relationship if you're a guy, so you've got to make money, right? You've got to be accepted in society, so you gotta dress the way that you're supposed to dress. Not how you want to dress, but how society thinks you must dress. You're supposed to talk how society wants you to talk. You're supposed to love the music that society wants you to love. Look, I love EDM, right? I love EDM. Sometimes I'll be playing electro music and people ask me, "Are you okay, man? Like, what's going on?" Yeah, there's this song that I love playing. This song is a song by the Glitch Mob. It's called Our Demons. I really love this song. No wonder you're so stubborn. Nobody ever made you dig deeper. No wonder you got demons. Everybody got a choice this time around. I play that song. And because people don't understand like the kind of music that I listen to where I live, they think there's something wrong with me. Like, they'll even criticize you for the kind of music that you listen to, bruh. You're supposed to listen to the music that they listen to. But because I'm free, I don't give a fuck. You know, I prefer doing the things that I want. I think that's what being sane is about. Like, when you are really sane, you're supposed to be doing the things that you want to do, regardless of how, you know, people perceive you, because you understand yourself. You know, you're not a slave. You are working towards being free. That's something that really matters to you. You know, because there are some people in this world that I think they've accepted their enslavement, right? So they feel like no one should be free, like no one should be set free. You know, people should just be okay with what's going on. People must just be okay with the kind of culture that they are being forced to adapt, the traditions that they're being forced to adapt, the laws that are supposed to govern them. Like, no, man. Some of us want to be free. We don't want to be slaves. We want to be able to speak our minds. We want to be able to dress the way that we want to dress. We want to be able to listen to the kind of music that we want to listen to. We want to do things without caring how other people are going to look at us. Because that's how people remain slaves. You know, they find themselves caring about things that they shouldn't be caring about. So they end up not freeing themselves, even when it's really possible. I hate that we're supposed to be like animals. We're supposed to be like animals. We're supposed to think the same way, feel the same way, act the same way, dress the same way. See, that's what they want. That's what the people that are running everything want. That is why when you were in high school, you had to dress the same way. Here in South Africa, I think, but it happens everywhere, really. Kids are being forced to dress a certain way. They call it, wearing a uniform, right? You gotta wear a uniform. Be like everyone else. Nah. Be yourself. You got to be yourself. Not be forced to be like everyone, even if you're not like everyone. You see, we look the same. I get it. So you can say we are the same. I get it. But on the outside, yes, we are the same. When you try to figure out if we love the same things, you realize that no, humans don't love the same things. When you try to figure out if we value the same things, you realize that humans don't value the same things. if you try to figure out if people really think the same way, you realize that people don't think the same way. I mean, yeah, most people think the same way because, like I said, they're slaves. They're being forced to, accept this system of slavery that is making people behave the same way, think the same way, feel the same way. But there are humans that are free, that really want to be themselves. So just because we look the same, you can say, okay, every human bleeds, every human has 2 legs, 2 hands, unless something has happened. But yeah, usually humans have 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 eyes. You think they should be treated the same? No, they shouldn't be. Some deserve more freedom because of how they act, because of what they believe, because of their values. That is why there are people in this world that are feeling depressed because of the laws on assisted suicide where they live in their countries. They're like, if I decide that I'm tired, I can't leave. I'll be forced to be here, even if I'm tired, even if I do not want to be here anymore. And there are some people that are like, yeah, it is okay. That's how things should be. No one should be allowed to choose when they get to die. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to choose when you get to die because, maybe you're not intelligent enough to know when you'll be ready. You not being intelligent has nothing to do with me. Maybe I'm intelligent enough to know what's best for me, Maybe I'm intelligent enough to know what's best for me. You're not intelligent enough to know what's best for you. So why should we be treated the same? Be a slave if you want to be a slave. If you want other people to tell you what to think, if you want other people to tell you what to do, to tell you when to do what you want to do, if you want other people to take away your rights, fine. That's what you want. That's not what I want. So don't force me to want what you want, you see? Don't be that stupid. You must realize that we're not the same. That's a very important thing to realize. Humans are not the same. Go on. Oh, I was in guys. All right. Oh, okay. Freedom is important, man. Freedom is important. If it's not important to you, cool. You don't want freedom, fine. But don't stand in the way of other people who want freedom. Don't stand in the way of people that want freedom just because you don't want freedom, because you don't see the value of freedom, because you do not trust yourself, because you're not intelligent enough to make your own choices. Don't ever think that each and every human here is not intelligent enough to make their own choices. It's not true at all. Some humans know what they want. Some humans know what makes sense. Not everyone is insane. Not everyone is dumb. Not everyone is under a spell. I think this is what a lot of people do not get, This is what a lot of people do not get. So yes, we are the same when it comes to, how we look. You can call me a human because I have the qualities that make a human, right? So yeah, call me a human, but realize that I do not think the way other people do. You know, I'm much more free. You know, I'm clear-headed. You know, some people call this intelligence, you know, being clear-headed. Some people call it insanity. Some people think that, you know, it's a sin to be clear-headed, you know, to think for yourself, to be logical. It's a sin. Some people think that you are being evil when you think for yourself, because they've been made to feel like it is wrong to think for yourself. It is wrong to want freedom, you know, to do things that are going to lead to your freedom. A human mustn't be free. A human must submit to something that's higher than them, even if they've never seen that thing. We're being made to feel guilty for not believing in a God. I've never seen God, but I'm supposed to feel guilty for not believing in God. I'm supposed to be scared for not believing in God because He's gonna punish me. I saw a post from this other Christian, and I was like, dude, why did I not realize it when I was like really, really young, like maybe 5 years old? I should have realized that there's something wrong with Christianity. So this is what the post says. Someone posted, something happened to Brazil, right? Not to Brazil, not to the country actually. Something happened in Brazil. You know, I wouldn't say it happened to the whole country, but something happened somewhere in Brazil. And I think it happened in a place where maybe they've done something that Christians believe is not right, you know. Christians believe that they were sinning somehow, you know, they were mocking God somehow. You know, there's something that people did in a particular city in Brazil that Christians didn't like. So they felt like, you know, these people are sinning against God. These people are blaspheming against God. So something happened to that city. I don't know what happened. I just saw a couple of people talking about it. So this Christian posted on Facebook that, yeah, what happened to Brazil is proof that you can't mock our God. Anyone who rejects God deserves to go to hell. Anyone who mocks God deserves to go to hell. No sin will go unpunished. You know, it's like, I should have realized that there's something wrong with Christianity. And you might say, it's just one Christian. It's not like that's how every Christian thinks. Are you sure? I mean, are there Christians who don't believe in hell? Are there Christians who don't believe that those who do not believe in that religion are going to go to hell? Because if you believe that and you don't feel like there's something wrong with that, then you're not so different from this Christian that posted the what I'm talking about on social media. You're not so different from this Christian that I'm talking about, because you feel like people deserve to be, you know, punished for not believing in your God. So yeah, man, we live in a world where we're not supposed to be ourselves. We're supposed to be controlled somehow, and if we don't want to be controlled, we're doing something wrong. If you want to be free, you're doing something wrong. No one should be free. You are a sinner if you want to be free. This should tell you something about this world, man. This will tell you something about this world. You're not supposed to feel okay in a world like that. A world where you're not supposed to be free. In a world where you are, forced to conform. If you do not conform, then you might lose everything. Because if you don't conform in this world, you lose a lot of things. And if you continue to not conform, you end up losing everything, A lot of people that are homeless were people that did not conform. Are people who have realized that, something is not right, and they wanted to be free. And because, like I keep on telling you that wanting to be free is a sin. Wanting to be free isn't allowed. The system doesn't want people to be free. You end up suffering. It's either you suffer as a slave while sleeping at least in a nice house, having a family, being safe, You're not really safe, but feeling safe. And people feel safe, I guess, when they are sleeping in their own houses. Yeah, it's either you choose to be a slave and, feel safe, have a house, have a family, or be real. Be real and suffer a lot. Be an outcast. But I think if really you hate this world, you must not be afraid to be an outcast. You must not be afraid, of being hated by people, of not being understood by people, of not being, accepted by people. Because this world is fucked up. The things that we're consenting to are fucked up. If we really take ourselves seriously, we should be fighting against these systems because they're not good for us. So sometimes it has to do with how we look at ourselves. Do we take ourselves seriously enough, or do we think that we are nothing more than or do we feel like we're nothing more than slaves? Because if we think that this is how we should be, this is how we should be treated, then this is how we should be treated. But if we do feel like something isn't right, then we should be fighting against this system. Even if it means that there will be a lot of people that are not going to understand us, it's fine. You shouldn't be conforming, to these standards of society. If you know that you deserve more or you deserve better, then don't conform. Something is wrong. And you are able to see that something is wrong. Think about it. If you are able to see that something is wrong and you are, conforming, are you not just like everyone else? Because you are doing the same things that they are doing, even though you're realizing that the things that are, they're doing are toxic, even when you're realizing that the things that they're doing are not good for them. If you take yourself seriously enough, you're not going to conform. You're not going to allow society to control you. You'll be able to stand up for yourself, speak your truth, without fear. I think it's important that people, break out of this social matrix. Once you realize that, okay, this social matrix is a prison, then it's important to do what you can to break out of it. Even though, it's not easy, because I think breaking out of the social matrix is much harder than breaking out of an actual prison. Because in the beginning, you won't even realize that you are in a prison. In the beginning, you just think, this is how things are supposed to be. It's gonna take time for you to realize that something isn't right. It's gonna take time for you to realize that something isn't right. And after realizing that something isn't right, because you have seen other people breaking out of this social matrix, you have to figure out how to break out of it yourself. You see, you haven't seen people breaking out of the social matrix, so you have to, you're gonna have to be creative. You're gonna have to come up with new ideas, because other people have not done what you're trying to do. So you have to think in a way that other people have not been thinking before. That's what's gonna help you break out of this social matrix. And the thing is, you're gonna go through a lot when you're trying to break out. You'll lose a lot. You're gonna lose friends. You're gonna lose money. But it depends on how how badly you want to be free. Because it matters, man. It matters that we're free. It really matters that we're free. You can't just live like a slave your whole life and somehow believe that you lived a meaningful life. No, you didn't live a meaningful life. You lived as a slave your whole life. You didn't even live for yourself. You just think that it is okay because every person that was living that way, so it's normal, right? Society is making people stupid, man. There's a lot of people that used to be like really smart. There are people that I knew were smart when I was young. Like, they were really, really smart. They didn't take shit. Now when I look at them, like, what the hell? What happened? Like, this individual used to be really, really smart. This individual used to stand for themselves. They used to stand up for themselves. They didn't take shit. They didn't allow other people to use them. But when you look at them now, you're like, Like, people are broken, man, and they don't even realize that they're broken, People are unhappy and they don't even realize that they're unhappy. People are not living in the way that they should be living, and they don't even realize that they're not living the way that they should be living. They've had a lot of things taken away from them, and they don't even realize that they had a lot of things taken away from them. That's why I keep on telling people that don't conform, man. Look at this world. Ask yourself if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Before you do something, ask yourself if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it does not make sense. Don't conform to these standards of society. I mean, yeah, if the standards of society make sense to you, you can conform, right? Because they make sense to you. At your level of consciousness, that these standards actually make sense to you. I get it. But there are people that are too conscious. There are people that are conscious enough to realize that they deserve more. They're conscious enough to know that they actually deserve better than this. Thank you all, guys.